During school, did you ever do air raid drills?
Yes.
What did you have to do for them?
Went downstairs in the basement and just kind of covered your head, leaned against the wall, concrete wall. That was pretty much it.
And that was a weekly or a monthly?
They went off every Wednesday.
Yeah,
That's
every
right.
Wednesday.
12 o'clock.
Yeah.
That's right.
When you were a child, did you hear people talking about nuclear weapons, and how were the general feelings towards these weapons?
You hear people talking about what?
Nuclear weapons.
Oh, good heavens. I never heard of a nuclear weapon when I was a kid. And I sure never heard any people talking about it until way into the 1940s.
Did you understand who the bad people were, and how did they portray them in the society?
How did they portray what?
The bad guys in the society.
Oh, okay. When I was growing up, the bad guys that I had any knowledge of were on the Saturday afternoon cowboy movies. There was one guy, apparently, in our neighborhood, Virginia Marsh and Virginia and Vivian Marsh were kids our age, you know. Their dad was a meat butcher, but apparently he also was a bootlegger and had been in jail, served some at least jail time. I don't think he was in prison, but I think he was in jail for bootlegging at some time or other. But again, these things were not talked about to us kids.
Did you ever see or hear about a bomb shelter?
Yes, we did, but exactly where it was at that particular time, I don't know. I think it was out of Fairchild. And I think they had several of them out there at that time.
People built bomb shelters too after the explosion at Hiroshima, or not Hiroshima. But yeah, when they heard about atomic bombs, people started putting in bomb shelters in their backyards. You know, they were panicked. They were really scared. Nobody knew about this stuff. You know, this is brand new, and it was something to be panicked about. We never knew.
Did you ever see or hear about a bomb shelter?
Yes, we did, but exactly where it was at that particular time, I don't know. I think it was out of Fairchild. And I think they had several of them out there at that time.
People built bomb shelters too after the explosion at Hiroshima, or not Hiroshima. But yeah, when they heard about atomic bombs, people started putting in bomb shelters in their backyards. You know, they were panicked. They were really scared. Nobody knew about this stuff. You know, this is brand new, and it was something to be panicked about. We never knew.
What were your feelings towards them? Like, were you scared or?
Oh yeah. Yeah, you never know what the heck is going to come.
Yeah.
You just don't.
Did you ever hear about nuclear weapons?
Back then, yeah, somewhat, you know.
It was mostly just bombing.
Were you scared of either us or the enemies getting threatened to be bombed?
No, not really.
Who was someone that made you feel more comfortable during all the time period?
Brother.
You mean like a famous person,
Or like family?
You didn't talk about stuff like that in the 60s. You didn't.
Yeah.
What you guys know now of the internet, the Facebook, your parents, they are vocal. Back then, people were not vocal. Parents kept to themselves. They didn't say to their children what was going on.
Do you ever remember watching TV or hearing anything on the radio about the war?
That's kind of funny, because when I lived with my grandparents on the farm, we didn't have TV until I was 17 years old. And my parents weren't rich, so they didn't have TV until about 4 or 5 years later. So no, the only thing we got was radio.
Yeah.
Radio was the thing.
Do you know anybody that fought in the Vietnam War?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who?
A friend of ours.
Well, and
You'll be.
What was your biggest concern during the war?
I didn't have a concern. I was very gullible, had no idea. I knew they were fighting. I knew it was a stupid war. I wanted our boys back.
Yeah.
That's all I knew. Because it was not,
It really wasn't.
it was not
declared
brought,
war.
no, it wasn't declared a war. Plus, in those days, we're not as knowledgeable as what you are right now.
Mm-hmm.
We were very,
It was a war that we should never have been in
No.
to start with.
Were you scared more during the Cold War or now in today's society?
today's society is crazy.